Say, boss, you see many animals in the field. Truth is, an environmental NGO has asked us to remove wild animals from combat zones. If you have the time, can you extract some back here? There's a reward in it for us. Golden Crescent. It's a type of medicinal plant. We can use that to make tranquilizer rounds more potent. Use your horse for traveling long distances. Let us know from your iDroid and we can send him to you. iDroid and select it from the mission list. I sent a list of selectable missions to your iDroid. They're all jobs that only you can handle.
Whoa! Whoa! Yeah!
On the brink of death, it's hard to say whether he'll survive a Fulton extraction. If you have to extract someone who's on the verge of death, you better use the chopper. But if you're gonna carry them, put them to sleep first. You won't get far if you have to fight them every step. That soldier you extracted, he was dead on arrival. What a waste. Extract him. something of an ancestor to the domestic carrot. It's also a favorite of wild animals.
Whoa! Whoa!
Neutralize an enemy without killing him. You can then Fulton extract him. Once we've extracted a soldier, we should be able to convince him to join us. Sandstorms come in. Sandstorms effectively make you blind and deaf, but that goes for the enemy too. Use the situation to your advantage. around. With the local residents gone, they've gone back to the wild. There are goats around. With the local residents gone, they've gone back to the wild. I don't care how you do it, but you've got to get us more manpower. If we're gonna get back at those bastards, our organization has to grow. You can give the order to develop new weapons and items from your iDroid. There's no substitute for having the right equipment. Attach the Fulton recovery device to him. The chopper will then pick him up. He's coming too. Roger that. So this is Raven territory. I heard once that some indigenous peoples in Canada and Alaska deify the common raven as a totem. So this is Raven territory. I heard once that some indigenous peoples in Canada and Alaska deify the common raven as a totem.
Yeah. 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 Heads up. On the ground. Hey! Кто это?
So your suppressor is worn out. That gun will be as loud as any other now. If you have to shoot...
Spit it out. Speak.
You gotta extract him.
Yeah.
Looking out a dirty
Yeah.
down below, the cars in the city go rushing by. I sit here alone and I wonder why. Friday night and everyone's moving. I can feel the heat, but it's soothing heading down. I search for the beat in this jetty downtown. The young ones are growing. Downtown, the young ones are growing. We're the kids in America. We're the kids in America. Everybody lives for the music around. Bright lights and music and fast. Look boy, don't check on your watch, not another glance. I'm not leaving now, honey, not a chance. Hot shot, give me no fuss. So much later, baby, you'll be saying never mind. You know life is cruel, life is never kind. High no makes a little glory. High heart, no gravity glory. We're the kids in America. We're the kids in America. Everybody lives for the music around.
The security forces must know something about the targets. After you grab or hold up an enemy, try interrogating them.
Feeling right. Oh, don't try to stop, baby. Hold me tight. Outside a new day is dawning. Outside suburbia's crawling everywhere. I don't want to go, baby. New York to East California. There's a new wave coming, I warn ya. We're the kids
ТПП СБ-1. Поиски закончены. Противник обнаружен. Прием. СКП, понял. Будьте наготове. Конец связи.
The enemy's given up their search for you. But they're not giving the all-clear just yet. Stay alert.
Came as some surprise. I spoke into his eyes. I thought you died.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. That material. It could be just what we need to develop new weapons and equipment. Roger. disable the Soviets' reinforcement system by putting a hole in their base-to-base comms network. Head for the Eastern Communications Post and destroy its comms equipment. First, use the binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility.
Boss, information warfare is more than just intel gathering. It also means disrupting enemy communications. Your mission is to punch a hole in the comms network between the Soviet outposts. That'll cut off their means. Boss, information warfare is more than just intel gathering. It also means disrupting enemy communications. Your mission is to punch a hole in the comms network between the Soviet outposts. That'll cut off their means to call in reinforcements. Technically, we were given this mission by a Western-backed Arab organization supporting the guerrillas. But it'll also give us a leg up in the future. Take a look at the location of the Eastern Communications Post on your iDroid. Head there and destroy its comms equipment. He who controls information controls operations. Just look at Cypher. Good luck, boss.
That facility is the backbone of the Soviets' local communications network. It's situated against a rugged mountain and protected by heavy firepower and tight security. That facility is the backbone of the Soviets' local communications network. It's situated against a rugged mountain and protected by heavy firepower and tight security.
Come back safe, boss!
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. Head for the Eastern Communications Post and destroy the target equipment. Its location is on your iDroid.
You know where you're headed, boss? If you place a marker on the map, you can keep track of where you want to go, even when the map's closed.
Нет, не делай этого! Talk. Where are your friends? I will speak. Speak. Spit it out. Where are your friends? Spit it out. Talk. Talk.
You gotta extract him. Keep in mind, time doesn't stop while you use the iDroid. You can even move around while using it, but pay attention to your surroundings.
You know where you're headed, boss? If you place a marker on the map, you can keep track of where you want to go even when the map's closed.
Talk. Where are your friends? Что происходит?
Время спать закончилось!
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. He's coming too. Roger that.
Spit it out. Where are your friends?
You gonna extract him? Okay, subject is in.
Patata? Cos'è?
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Меня ранили!
Капрал 07, вывод огня и отсюда! Этот сукин сын использует глушитель! Прием! Это КП, понял. Внимание всем постам. Противники где-то прячутся. Найти их. Конец связи.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. If you ready your weapon while crawling, you can move horizontally left or right. If you do that holding the dash button, you'll move faster.
Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa. You know where you're headed, boss? If you place a marker on the map, you can keep track of where you want to go even when the map's closed. The principle of infiltration is hiding your entire presence. That includes not making any unnecessary noise. When you want to move quietly, walk slowly or crawl. You know where you're headed, boss? If you place a marker on the map, you can keep track of where you want to go even when the map's closed.
If you set up a capture cage, it'll trap small to medium-sized animals. The support unit will handle the extraction, so all you need to do is place the cage. Wild animals have all kinds of habitats. Try placing cages in a variety of places. You can check the animals list on your iDroid to see which animals have been extracted. Out of ammo? Let the support unit help out if you need to restock. Transmit a request from your iDroid and I'll send supplies right away. If you neutralize an enemy without killing him, you can then Fulton extract him. Once we've extracted a soldier, we should be able to convince him to join us. To do a Fulton extraction, first approach the neutralized individual.
Whoa, whoa!
If you place a marker on the map, you can keep track of where you want to go even when the map's closed. Your horse can move fast and does well on bad terrain. He's best for long journeys to your objective area. You can whistle to call him to your position from a distance. You can also shoot while on horseback and hide off of either side of him.
Как ты? Ты в порядке?
You made it. First, use the binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility. First, you have to identify the targets. Recon the site with your binoculars. Once you know where the targets are, take them out to put their network out of action. How you do that is up to you. A flag. It's gotta mean something. A flag. It's gotta mean something. That antenna is one of the targets. There should be more. Keep looking. That's a transceiver antenna. Take out all of them to shut down the enemy's local comms network. Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Talk. Where are the others?
He's coming too. Roger that. That's another one of the targets. Do you see any more?
вылазка на душманов.
Информация была правильной. Они осели в заброшенном кишлаке Бабахрам. Мы выдвинулись и взяли их всех сразу. Что? Все они оказались таджиками.
Откуда была информация?
От душманов.
Чего?
Выдавал себя за жителя кишлака. Но на самом деле это хамид.
Хамид?
Пуштунские боевики. Не базируются в пакистанских границах.
Предали своих?
Они себя таковыми не считают. Братья по религии, не по крови. Это хороший шанс для хамида. Теперь они могут закрепиться в этой области.
Следующий? Только будут...
Ага, у этих хамидов после оружия. Для американцев.
Нам нужно быть осторожными.
Берегись. Where are the others? Speak. Speak.
Sight, sound, keep all your enemy senses in mind.
That looks like the target. We know where all the antennas are now. Take out all three of them. How you do it is your call. Good work. You completed your objective. Now get out of the hot zone. Good. You completed the objective. Now get out of there. Exfiltrate out of the hot zone by chopper or on land. Roger. This is B-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is B-Quad. On station at LZ. Heading out. That's it. You've made it out of the hot zone. No sign of the enemy. Mission complete, boss. Departing! army is growing like crazy thanks to you, boss. In fact, it's getting downright crowded around here. To bring a greater number of people on board, we'll need to expand our facilities. To that end, I've created a base development unit. It has two roles, material refinement and platform construction. I'll start with the material refinement part. The base development unit procures material resources on a regular basis according to its level. The materials are stored in containers and placed on the deck of Mother Base. Once they're finished being processed, they can finally be put to use. By using these materials to build new platforms, we'll be able to add a greater number of staff to our ranks. We don't need any specific instructions from you to refine the materials, but I want you to be the one to decide how we construct platforms. Once we have sufficient GMP and the required material resources, you can issue construction orders from your iDroid.
Good. You captured it alive.
Boss, we've received a back-channel request from Langley. We're to find a piece of new American military hardware that's gone missing in the mountains of Afghanistan. It's a difficult mission, but I'd say you're back in top form by now. Check your iDroid for the details.
This war, the Kremlin never expected to have this much trouble against the Mujahideen. Afghanistan is a tribal society. Tradition demands that its people stand up to any outsiders who set foot on their land. With the honor of their people at stake, they have everything to fight for. No matter how hard the Soviets hit them, they continue to appear out of nowhere, striking back, then vanishing again. But there's one thing even the Mujahideen fear. Every last one of them. The Soviet gunships. They're highly maneuverable and equipped with massive firepower. Plus, the underside of the fuselage is heavily armored. The Mujahideen can barely scratch them with their small arms. Anyone who hangs around gets mowed down by the gunship's heavy machine guns. This new honeybee weapon that was given to the Hamid fighters, it's no doubt something to help them strike back against the gunships, which makes it a weapon that could change the course of the war.
Those guerrilla fighters known as Mujahideen don't actually belong to a single organization. Afghanistan is a multi-ethnic country. You've got the Pashtuns, the Tajiks, Uzbeks, Hazaras, and each of them is split into their own tribes, large and small. Each ethnicity has several rebel organizations that their various tribes gather under. They're united under the banner of jihad, but that doesn't mean they work like a single standing army. Just look at the area around Smasi Fort. A lot of Tajiks used to live there, but they fled after the Soviets started their Scorched Earth campaign. With the area uninhabited, the Hamid fighters, who are Pashtun, decided to move in. The Hamids are based out of the city of Peshawar. We passed through it on the western edge of Pakistan. The Pashtun people have long lived in Afghanistan and western Pakistan. They used to travel back and forth frequently. Then Britain went and established the border that still stands today. The Hamid fighters get generous support from the Pakistani government. The government wants to use them to secure influence over Afghanistan. Their liaison with the Hamids is Inter Services Intelligence, and behind the ISI, you have the CIA. That's probably how the honeybee ended up in the hands of the Hamid men.
Ocelot said the number of private forces is increasing, and they've modeled themselves after us.
They're a far cry from the likes of us.
But why? 9 years ago we made enemies of the world as a nuclear-equipped force, independent of ideology or state.
Yes. Sooner or later, the real UN would have stepped in.
So why are they giving these PFs free rein?
That's our fault, too.
What do you mean?
What happened 9 years ago was a real problem for a lot of people. An organization as big as ours, with our facilities, was wiped off the map. Not an easy thing to hide. But if our existence came to light, so would the names of our clients. We had contracts all over, east and west, from superpowers to banana republics, the lot. Our clients denied all association with the likes of us. They had to make sure things didn't blow up on them. But at the same time, they missed us. They really missed us. The demand for armies for hire was as strong as ever. The international community turned a blind eye to what happened to us, despite still needing people who could do our jobs. History couldn't afford to lose us. As soon as we were gone, they needed a replacement. So private forces spread everywhere. And they're all just a phone call away.
But still.
I know. PFs are totally different from what we envisioned. Nation-states, revolutionaries, terrorists. They have a lot of clients, and Cypher is one of them. Cypher stays anonymous, but I know their work when I see it. In the eyes of those clients, the world's PFs are all just expendable pawns. The clients don't have to worry about losing their own men. Nobody knows they're involved, and PFs are cheap. In short, the world is chewing up soldiers and spitting them out. Even some of the old Mother Base's survivors are still working for PFs. Some guys created their own smaller forces. Others were taken on by emerging PFs. Everybody's gone their separate ways. But none of them are living their dream, because they're not fighting with you. Of course, I tried to headhunt as many of them as I could for Diamond Dogs. It was all a waste of time. They said they weren't interested without you to lead them. But now you're back. And everything's gonna change. We'll unite all private forces under you, transcending nations and economies. What is a nation? Just a patch of dirt. The bonds among us will surpass nations, and that's what'll put the world under our control. We'll establish a new kind of country, redefine the very concept of it. Even Cypher will be below us, an extraterritorial federation of military nations. The United States of Force. Once word of Big Boss's return starts traveling, that'll be our true deterrent against Cypher. In other words, no one will dare to come gunning for you.
How do you figure?
Cypher lacks a large-scale fighting force. PFs are the perfect tool for them. But those PFs revere you, the legendary Big Boss. If Cypher killed you now, they wouldn't take it lying down. Maybe they'd even go looking for revenge, but they definitely wouldn't keep doing Cypher's dirty work, even if it put their lives at stake. That's why it's no longer a benefit to Cypher to get rid of you. The very fact that you're alive is our greatest defense against Cypher.
Nice to know. It'll buy us some time while we get back to full strength.
Just keep in mind that what I'm saying is generalizing a lot. In practice, the PFs around the world don't know your face. Just declaring that you're big boss won't be enough to convince them. And if they see you as an enemy, they'll come at you with everything they've got.
Some hero.
That's why you need to bring them back to Mother Base. Show them on your terms that you really are the one and only big boss. Once you've proven that, they won't hesitate to join us. Snake, do you remember Amanda?
Yeah, I do.
Their revolution was a success. Somoza resigned, and Nicaragua has a new government. Amanda's really working hard for her country to be reborn.
Good for them.
She says she wishes Chico could be there.
That revolution was the dream. For Amanda, for Chico, and their father.
That chopper was no place for Chico to die. I'd like to at least think history will remember his part in the revolution.
When you pick up a gun, there's always a chance you'll die for nothing. He knew that as well as the rest. Now that he's gone, it's up to the rest of us to decide what it was all worth. If we don't, there's nothing to prove that Chico ever lived at all. We're his mark on the world.
Amanda told us that Strangelove contacted her after the revolutionaries came to power in Nicaragua. Strangelove, the AI researcher from Mother Base?
I remember her.
We'd lost touch with her, till Amanda heard from her out of the blue. She told Amanda she wanted to salvage Peace Walker's drive parts, or something from the bottom of Lake Nicaragua. Amanda passed the request on to her friends in the new administration. She's a national hero now, after all. So Strangelove got a Soviet military aircraft to transport something to somewhere. But apparently the cargo wasn't big enough to have been Peace Walker itself.
So what was it?
Who knows? We recovered Peace Walker's nuclear warhead ourselves 9 years ago. What could Strangelove have been after? Amanda said she didn't mention what her reason was or where she was headed. Nicaragua is a socialist state now. And with Amanda vouching for her, the government didn't feel the need to concern itself with the details. All Strangelove told Amanda was that she was going to continue her research, and that the rest was a secret. Right before the attack, Huey was in the control tower to prepare for the inspectors. He was with them when it all went down. The control tower collapsed with the rest of it strut. His body was never recovered. But he was the one who met the inspection party when they arrived. And he was the one who showed the nuclear inspectors to the tower. You remember the way it went. First he recommends we agree to the inspection, then he gives them the okay without our permission, all the time acting as if he was doing us a favor. On top of that, he even had the guards disarmed that day. It would send the wrong message, he said. Whatever the angle, it all leads back to Huey. I curse my own stupidity for not realizing sooner. Huey escaped with that unit by chopper. I've been hunting him for 9 long years. The other reason I was operating around Afghanistan was to dig up his location.
Huey's in Afghanistan?
Yes, and I have a good idea where. Now we just wait for the right moment. This time, we'll be the ones using him. He's going to tell us who our guests really were that used a fake nuclear inspection to blast our home into the ocean. we're going to expand Mother Base, we need more manpower. And not just for combat roles either. R&D, the support unit, intel, each demands a different set of skills. If we want to achieve what we've set out to do, Diamond Dogs has got to get stronger. There's a Soviet engineer I want to have join us. He was the one who built your prosthesis. With him on our side, who knows what sort of enhancements he'll come up with for it. He tried to defect but didn't make it, and now he's being held prisoner at Waksin Barracks. Find this engineer and get him out. Having him on our R&D team will go a long way to helping Diamond Dogs grow.
prisoner at the Waksin barracks. You need to find him and get him out. He tried to defect from the base camp up north, but it didn't work out. Now they're holding him at Waksin. He's offered his technical skills to us as long as we can guarantee his safety. You have to extract the target.
Boss, your target just happens to be the man who developed your prosthetic hand. And he's the only one capable of maintaining it. If we bring him in, I'm sure he'll be able to modify it in all kinds of ways as well.
Be careful down there, boss.
The target's an engineer. A mechanical engineer, to be precise. That prosthesis you're using is apparently one of his creations. So you know, firsthand, just how good this guy is. It'd be a damn waste to let them kill him. Get him out of there in one piece. Now I gotta say, what was a mechanic's whiz doing in a place like that? It's just as we suspected. They must be developing some kind of weapon in that region. The target's an engineer. A mechanical engineer, to be precise. That prosthesis you're using is apparently one of his creations. So you know, firsthand, just how good this guy is. It'd be a damn waste to let them kill him. Get him out of there in one piece. Now I gotta say, what was a mechanic's whiz doing in a place like that? It's just as we suspected. They must be developing some kind of weapon in that region. Waksin barracks. The target is somewhere inside that outpost. The Soviets consider him a traitor now, so he'll be treated like any other prisoner. Find the target in the Waksin barracks and get him out alive.
It's a heavy machine gun. Packs far more power than any rifle. You can either use it yourself or destroy it. Either way, best keep in mind some way to deal with it. Waksin is a major outpost that links this region together. It's huge, and its position in the mountains makes it hard to attack. Don't take this one lightly.
The target is being held somewhere in the Waksin barracks. Use your binoculars to see what's going on inside the base.
A Soviet soldier. A lot of them came from Central Asia before, but lately they've been using more and more Russians. Simple, really. There's less hesitation to pull the trigger if they're not fighting their own race. Morbid cynicism, but it gets results. That's humanity for you.
Nice find. Analyzing the intel file you picked up. We've got a fix on the target. I've updated your map info. Check it on your iDroid.
That's communications equipment used by the outpost CP. It must be how they keep in touch with headquarters. If you destroy it, you might be able to cut off the CP from their HQ.
Keep in mind that time doesn't stop while you use the iDroid. You can even move around while using it, but pay attention to your surroundings. The target is being held somewhere in the Wuxin barracks. Use your binoculars to see what's going on inside the base. If you ready your weapon while crawling, you can move horizontally left or right. If you do that holding the dash button, you'll move faster. Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. So your suppressor is worn out. That gun will be as loud as any other now.
Это КП, понял. Возможно, это вражеское нападение. Всем быть начеку. Конец связи.
coming too. Roger that.
КП-206. Одного из наших унесло на воздушном шаре. Похоже, у нас на базе противник. Жду указаний. Прием. Это КП. Понял. Последующие потери неприемлемы. Держите ухо востро. Конец связи.
Эй, смотри! Акум! Эй! Ты в порядке? Что за...
Where are your friends?
Anti-air radar? It wasn't one of the targets, but that's put a hole in their air surveillance. The chopper will be able to get in close now. You can designate a landing zone near the outpost. Into the building. Always keep an escape route in mind when you head indoors. If you get surrounded, you'll have nowhere to run. boxes so we can ID the targets. That's the target.
Это протез.
КП, это Дмитрий-9.
Обычный протез. Это скучно.
Это КП, понял.
специалист.
Они не могли уйти далеко.
Побранники.
Будьте бдительны. Конец связи.
Биомеханические гибриды.
Штаб, это КП. Понадеялся огонь.
Looks like the enemy's lost sight of you.
Мы потеряли
They're
врага.
gonna try to hunt you down.
Поблизости. Соблюдайте осторожность. Штаб, это КП. Ответьте. Штаб, ответьте. Штаб, это КП. Штаб, прием. КП, это
Свою жизнь
Неизвестные выстрелы.
я создал тысячи
Сказать не
таких
могу. Прием.
конечностей.
Это КП, понял. Всем подразделениям. Быть начеку. Конец связи.
Вопросов даже в Кремле.
ЗО-1, это КП. Доложите ситуацию. Прием.
И вот
Вы меня
благодарность.
слышите? Прием.
Сделай гигантский
Всем боевым группам, это КП. У нас проблема. Тревога по всем постам. Штаб, это КП. Возразился огонь. Открыли огонь в ответ.
Посадили
Мы потеряли
меня
врага.
сделать его
Враг
отбивку.
может все еще прятаться поблизости. Соблюдайте осторожность. Штаб, это КП. Ответьте. Штаб, ответьте. Штаб, это КП. Штаб, прием. Штаб, это КП. Возразился огонь. Открыли огонь в ответ. Мы потеряли врага. Враг может все еще прятаться поблизости.
Now that's some lateral thinking.
Штаб, это
Flawless work. You never cease to amaze, boss.
Штаб,
Target extraction confirmed. Exfiltrate out of the hot zone by chopper or on land. You've completed your objective. Now get out of the hot zone. Leave the hot zone and find someplace safe. Roger. Great, boss. The engineer we rescued has been extremely cooperative. The guys on the R&D team are glad to have him aboard. Thing is, his specialty isn't mechanics, but something called bionics, engineering based on biology. He's already submitted a proposal for modifying your prosthetic arm. If you're interested, go ahead and give the development order. Good. You captured it alive. Boss, as requested, we've added an analyzer function to your binoculars. Now you can view soldiers or POWs and get a readout on their rank or any special skills they might have. Depending on their skills, they may even be able to develop new types of weapons or items. Try it out the next time you're thinking of folding someone.
We were lucky to get our hands on that cyborg arm developer. There's no one in Diamond Dogs who can so much as maintain that thing.
Bionic arm, not cyborg, if you go by what he calls it. But you're right, the East is light years ahead in bionics. They can even detect through the skin the slight electrical signals from the brain that order muscles to move. And the Soviet Union completed their first bionic arm capable of doing that back in the 60s. Although I guess that news didn't really reach the West.
No kidding. Zadorov's was the only one I ever saw. Quite a shock to see it for the first time.
And it was no mean feat to get hold of Snake's arm. I couldn't get one for you at the time, but you know, now...
Forget it. I've no intention of relying on bionics. Right now I need to keep the pain fresh in my mind.
Well, it's your decision. But don't you find it... inconvenient?
Not a bit. But the phantom pain, it never lets up. Do you know how many men I saw die that day? There's nothing we can do to bring them back. And you expect me to care about getting a measly arm and leg back? Sorry. But my pain belongs to all our dead comrades. I'll keep living with it for their sake. It'll guide me straight and true until I've gotten them the vengeance they deserve. Part of the Mujahideen's arsenal against the Soviets is secretly supplied by the CIA. But the war continues to drag on with neither side gaining the advantage. Now, though, the CIA have started supplying the guerrillas with a new weapon. We don't know the details, but rumor has it that it could turn the tide of the war. The Soviets have heard about it, and it has them spooked. Now, the Hamid Mujahideen were issued this weapon, but then they were wiped out in no time. There's no trace of fighting at their fort, and all their supplies are just sitting there. Naturally, that screams biochemical weapons, but the Soviets deny using anything that would violate the BWC. Whatever happened, the Soviets have invaded the area and are searching for this Western weapon tech. This is the CIA's worst nightmare. If that weapon falls into Soviet hands, it'll drastically rewrite the history that's being made here. But the company can't be seen entering the area. That's where we come in. Boss, head to the fort of Desmasi Laman. Find the weapon before the Soviets, and bring it back to base fast. The new weapon is codenamed Honeybee. To the U.S., it's a vital military secret.